are the days of our lives.
This show was written by a 13-year-old girl that is on the spectrum. This was written in a little pink-hearted diary that has little flowers in it and pictures of ponies. And she wanted to write all of this diversity and representation. But she had to pretend. She had to pretend that this was in a fantasy world.
The first thing we did is AK and I was like, I need the best writer I know, who's AK Schumann, and spent 2 weeks just going through that first book and breaking it down and like, what are the key elements? What do you as a non-book fan love? What do I as a book fan feel like has to be there to keep setting up things for the future?
You know, season 1 was terrible. It was terrible, but you could tell that there was an adult in a room, and I've said this on a live stream, that there was somebody somewhere told Rafe Judkins, do your damn job.
And the job is to take these books that everyone loves and that I love, luckily, and make them into something that delivers on the heart of what's there.
Try and adapt this. Just fake something. Fake something that looks like if you only read the back of one of the Robert Jordan books, maybe, or even just a Tolkien book, or you just walk through the fantasy section of a bookstore, that you would maybe think that this is a fantasy show. I don't understand. I don't understand how you willfully destroy something because there's no lore, there's no story here. Okay, they're not doing anything, but they just made their own shit up. We are in a place where the 14-year-old girls, or those with the mentality of very vindictive, very petty, very sheltered 14-year-old girls, think that this is what fantasy is. And when I say that, I'm referring to Rafe Judkins, I'm referring to Amanda Schumann. We're starting to see them fall back on the tropes that were used in Chuck and the Blacklist. You know where that doesn't work? That doesn't work in high fantasy. Imagine if they would have done this shit in Game of Thrones. You know what would have happened in Game of Thrones? Would have been canceled. We all heard Rafe talk about emotional journeys. I didn't realize that was pointless, meaningless little 60-second little girl pissy pants I want my dolly scenes with Warders, with Aes Sedai, with the Accepted, with the Forsaken.
Every time, like, it's a meme, right? But you think it can't get worse, and it just keeps getting worse.
It's difficult to be funny trashing a show which is so, it hates itself, and it is desperate to escape the intellectual property and even this fantasy setting, the bonds of being in a high fantasy world. It just pretty much wants to be in a cafe in Portland, or maybe a hospital with beeping heart monitors where they can be in nurse uniforms talking about like boys or girls or fuck those. The show has no interest in doing a fantasy anything. Amazon, how did you ever expect this to be Game of Thrones? How?
World breaking, it's story breaking, it's ridiculous. How can you not do better than this? It is shocking how bad it is.
It would appear that almost 2/3 who showed up for the original premiere are not showing up for this one. It's more than half. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, that does appear what it looks like. It looks like they've fallen off from about 1.16 billion minutes for the first 3 episodes to about 500 million minutes for the first 3 episodes of season 2. And I don't even know where to begin with this, because that fall off is well earned. What were they doing with Min? Why is Min a dark friend? Or were they too chicken shit to make her a dark friend? Well, so she's just going to do dark friend activities.
Why is her power evil? Like, why is it bad? Like, she never, like, it's different, but she never treats it as bad. Why is it a bad thing?
You guys remember when I had you react to those statements of Rafe Judkins that nobody had seen, and then he was talking about all this stuff.
You know, the cast is so attentive to the books, the production is so attentive to them. We all try to be really attentive to them, and we also try to not be crushed under that pressure. We try to like also let the pieces of our artistry come to it.
I don't think any of us knew what it meant at the time. Like, none of us could understand the scope and scale of the depravity and the incompetence and the negligence that went into that. But having been through now half of an 8-episode season where there's 1,400 pages that have yet to appear on the screen, there is absolutely nothing from the Great Hunt. Nothing is occurring. Okay. And it started in episode 4 of season 1, where I think that's when they swerved back into the ditch that was the original script.
If I make just a literal interpretation of the books where they're just saying the lines that are on the page and we deliver them to screen, it will not feel right to the audience. We have to change things. We have to change things.
And now here we are. And I think a lot of us have this whiplash thing of, are we being gaslighted? What am I watching? Why can't you at least pretend that 2% anymore, that this is Robert Jordan? It's gone. And the pacing and the writing is so very clearly Amanda Schumann writing for The Blacklist or Chuck. There is no delivery of any line in season 2 that lets you believe that this is a fantasy show. There's no inflection. There's nothing.
Nobody is trying to tell this story. Nobody writing this likes this story. They are writing a feminist AU fan fiction that they've decided to adapt of this series, because this just is not it.
Nerdtorial, when you watch this being done to Star Trek and you hear Steve and Alex and others, Dane earlier tonight, talk about the disdain and the anger, is this kind of what you felt with Star Trek 2? Or, you know, I know that was kind of your first love.
Honestly, this is different than Star Trek. I mean, Star Trek, I don't know if you probably can't see, but I still own all the Star Trek prior to 2005. So I can still always go back to that. I mean, you guys have the books, but you have nothing. You have no other adaptation to go back to. So as much as woe is me with new Trek, what I think is happening to you guys is way worse. And they did this to a writer, an author, who has been gone for 16 years now, and his wife is still with us, and she's in her mid-80s. She is elderly, and she can't do anything about this. I mean, they gave her money, but they took something that meant something to her, because she was part of the creative process too with her husband. They're trying to destroy that legacy. Now, as long as people like the books, as long as people keep buying the books and reading them and telling people like, you know, me to other new readers to read them, it will stay alive. And I think I still hold out hope that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. This will be canceled. I don't see this going beyond another season. I think there will be another adaptation. I don't know how long it will take. And for those who are older, who read the books when they first came out, I am so sorry. It's unlikely that they're going to have an adaptation in your lifetime. I'm really concerned about the future of entertainment industry right now. It seems like the new generation of millennials can't seem to write anything.
This is a super chat for $9.99. It's a quote: "Never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity." I'm sorry. Sometimes it's malice. This is malice. This is negligence. Incompetence is not knowing any better. This is negligence. You can see it in the script that Rafe Judkins originally wrote in 2018 that we're going to do a video on. You can see him bringing in someone who didn't know the books at all, which we now, in my opinion, know was entirely deliberate. He brought someone in who didn't know the books so they could do his shit script with his shit ideas and give us what we have here. I'm Salty Traveling C. You have a good one.